Hello BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching Books I'm Not Reading. And everyone make the equal sign. Happy International Women's Day. I woke up this morning and Jason informed me of that, and I felt like it was a sign that I really needed to do my review of this book by Gloria Steinem, Outrageous Acts and Everyday Rebellions. So this is a collection of her essays, and before I get into that, before I get into the book, I just wanted to say reviews are still probably the hardest videos for me to make on BookTube. I don't want my channel to feel scripted. I'm sure it doesn't. I read this book as part of two different challenges. One is hashtag curiousadventure, which is a goal to read nonfiction throughout the year 2020. And I just posted my video about that yesterday, so you can check that out, about what books I'm reading for the different challenges throughout the year. And then also my challenge to try to read almost exclusively from my own home personal library in 2020. And that's a hashtag a year of reading one's own. And one of kind of the mini goals within that was to try to read books I have owned the longest and still haven't read. And there's two. This is one of them, so we're making progress. Like, poor Gloria, she deserves such a better cover than this. This cover is really, like, I hate this, like, fake gold sticker, and, like, I don't know why there's a picture that makes it look like she's in her pajamas. This is the Gloria Steinem that I think of, the one with long hair and holding a sign or yelling in the air or just speaking and listening to people. She does have a new book. I believe it came out at the end of last year. It's called The Truth Will Set You Free, but first it will piss you off. Thoughts on life, love, and rebellion. So she still has that rebellious spirit at 85. And so I just really didn't know that she had been kind of, I mean, she was a mover and a shaker, like, almost out of college. There's a section, an essay in here about campaigning. She was on a lot of presidential campaigns. I mean, she talks about being in the airplanes and, you know, trying to get time with Nixon, and instead they bring in his wife to talk to her, and kind of the discrimination that she experienced as a young reporter. One of the first essays in this book I actually found really powerful, and it's called I Was a Playboy Bunny. And her boss assigns her to go, and, like, they're advertising for the Playboy Club in New York. They're advertising that they want Playboy bunnies, and that you can make all this money in tips and blah blah blah, and it's you know, great setup or whatever. And it's horrible. Like, the way they treat these women is just shocking. And she, I think, got pretty lucky in getting in, just because she was using a fake name. She left with her social security number off of her, you know, W-2 or her payroll forms, whatever you want to call it. She just left it blank. And anyway, so, but she gets hired, and it basically sounds to me like a job where you work extremely long hours in a horrible, uncomfortable outfit. And it's just basically, you know, more than 8 hours a day of sexual harassment, being treated like an object. And, you know, it's all lies. Like, she doesn't make, nobody's making the kind of tips that are advertised. They have to pay for certain things, like, you know, if something happens to one of their bunny outfits or whatever, she actually has to go and have a physical exam, which I find just shocking. She has to go and have a physical exam with a specific doctor. She can't go see her doctor. She has to go to the Playboy Bunny Club doctor or whatever, which is very shady. And anyway, so she wrote the article. I think it originally came out in 1963 because they had taken her picture for like deciding who they were gonna hire. She then, after the article comes out and they find out who she really is, they use that photo in Playboy magazine for years and say that Gloria Steinem is their bunny contributor. Later, they use a photo that was taken at Gloria Steinem's, I think it was her 50th birthday party, and also a party for Ms. Magazine, which she's one of the co-editors or not co-editors, but a contributing editor and one of the founders of Ms. Magazine, which is essentially the feminist magazine in America, and has been for a very long time. But anyway, so yeah, eventually Playboy uses a picture that was at her birthday party and also for Ms. And she lifted her arm up and had a wardrobe malfunction. And so part of her breast is exposed. And so they got a hold of that picture and used it in their magazine, which is just amazing. But anyway, so the article came out in 1963. Afterwards, she and a tiny New York newspaper that just wrote on her article, essentially. She and this other little newspaper were sued for $1 million. $1 million libel suit. And I think that for Gloria Steinem, the bigger deal was that she was not taken seriously, and she lost a lot of journalism assignments because they're like, oh, well, you're the bunny, right? So she kind of had this persona about it. Playboy magazine even boasted that her article boosted bunny recruitment, which I find extremely hard to believe. On one hand, when I was reading through these essays, I felt like at certain points I'm like, oh, like, wow, like we've come so far, like no woman would put up with that anymore. And yet at the same time, like some of the things that she's written in this book, again, this published, 25 years ago, seemed very, very relevant today, which was so sad, so depressing. And I really just wanted, after I finished each essay, I just wanted to talk to Gloria Steinem and be like, okay, but what do you think, like, right now? Like, what do you think about this moment? And I guess my lesson in this is that if you're going to buy a kind of a current events related sort of book, you should probably read it right then. You should read it soon. Because if you leave it too long on yourself, it feels incredibly dated, and that's my fault. That is not Gloria Steinem's fault. So I think that was the biggest struggle for me in the book. It was a really important read, and I wish that I had read it when I got it, because it might have really changed my outlook on a lot of things. And I do have great appreciation for the women who have come before and fought for the rights of women, the rights to make decisions about our own bodies, access to birth control, things like that. I do appreciate the women, the vote. I do really, really appreciate the women who came before and did that. And I just wish that if I had I think if I had read that book then, my life might be a little bit different, and I would have gone out of my way to try to be more proactive on some of the things that she talks about in here. So there is a movie coming out this year about Gloria Steinem. It's called The Glorias. Gloria Steinem is played by 3 different actresses. There's a young one, there's like the next stage, and then finally we get to, so the middle one is Alicia Vikander. She plays a younger Gloria Steinem, and then it's also played by Julianne Moore. And it's based on Gloria Steinem's book called My Life on the Road. It's directed by Julie Taymor, which I think is also very cool. And yeah, so I'm excited. I don't know if that's going to be in theaters or if that's going to be a Netflix production or another maybe streaming service. I'm so happy I've read this book, one of the oldest books that I own. And probably, I will say, if it weren't signed, I would probably let it go. But I'm not going to let it go because it is signed. It's mainly the cover. God, the cover's just so awful. And that's totally, again, not Gloria Steinem's fault. But anyway, so on International Women's Day, there's a few thoughts about Gloria Steinem. I would love to know about your favorite feminist writers in the comment section below. If you're taking part in any activities related to International Women's Day, if you've had any encounters with feminist groups, activism, those kinds of things, I'd love to hear all about that. So please let me know in the comment section, and what other feminist writing I should read, because I think it's probably far too small. So, alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you really soon, BookTube. Take care.